Because no one's really black or white. You know, their tones or shades. What about a samurai? Give him a hero's dose of mushroom, boom. You know, Luke Skywalker, that's a name for the sun too. And Darth Vader, you know, that's the night, that's the moon. See a common theme forming here. Did Jonah chill in a whale and then get spit up just fine? And I'm taking all you motherfuckers with me.
This is about control. Everybody knows. Everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros. I don't need a plane. I just hit the road. I do what I want. I can't sell my soul. Market about to crash. This is what you chose. Ruining the country. I've been best to go. You gon' take the mark. I take narrow roads. I'm a man of God. I can never fold.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my co-host, Zach Grady. We're back from a break, a well-needed break. Thank you, Zach. Let me start my timer.
Get it.
Boom. That's how far in we are, sir. Anyway, all right, so
Okay.
we're here.
A lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. Shane got a little breather, a well-needed.
Yes, thank you for that.
I did too. We're a small regroup, little bathroom break. Welcome back. And as always, I'd like to thank our audience and our sponsors. I'm just kidding. We don't have any sponsors. No one would ever fucking sponsor this. Our sponsorship would be fucking canceled as soon as I said, welcome to the show, Shane.
But it still felt right. It still felt right that you said that. It still
did.
felt clean.
It did.
Felt
Thank
good.
you. I felt good. You know what? I got to be honest with you. It felt good saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, all right. So, all right. We're back. Here's my question for you. In a quick summary for the whole we'll call it first half of the show. An overarching sort of concept of the first half of the show is there's no way the audience or anyone who's, listening or who gives a shit about truly anything, I guess, if what we're seeking is the ultimate truth, right? We're seeking actual fucking truth.
Well, if you exist currently, you're a human, light in flesh, man, light, man, manna, bread, flesh. If you're a man currently existing being, wouldn't it behoove of everyone in that situation, since that's what I'm proposing, we're all obviously different versions of the same thing. You want to solve world racism? The social engineers.
Truth.
Here you go. I'll solve it real quick in under 5 minutes. The social engineers take genetic variation that you see in all other forms of life, and they put labels on it, and they give you those labels and program them into your brain, and then they cause the divide in those labels, and then they get you to kill each other, and as the blood spills, they profit off it every time, and it is a symbolic of the control and the level of control that they're exercising over you simultaneously. That's
the
a long
ritual
sentence.
of war. The ritual of bloodshed.
So race is here. Let me do this paragraph.
That was less
now.
than 5 minutes.
Let me do this. I'm not quite done yet.
Okay.
If I'm going to say something typically black, if the whitest human, because no one's really black or white, you know, their tones or shades.
Yep.
Like maybe you don't have pigment. I'm sure there's a disease that has that, so you're white. But there's whatever. Let's not get caught up in that. The darkest human or the lightest human you've ever seen that's from Africa and is Buddhist. And then you take a girl, the whitest human you've ever seen, the whitest female, and she's from Canada and is a Muslim, and they meet in Australia and have intercourse and have a baby, and it is Jehovah's Witness. What race is that baby? And by the time I finish that analogy, you realize, like, who fucking knows what any of that bullshit means? Are you talking about African American? Like, are you talking about that means their skin tone's black? You don't think any lighter skin tones originated on the continent we now call Africa that was changed? Like, what the hell was it called before? Like, it's just humans taking advantage of whatever fucking victim card, however they can control other humans in the same contained experience. There is no such thing as racism. It is a fucking divide that was programmed into your mind. Is there any fucking questions, humans, on that? There is no such thing as race. You've been fucking duped. How's the truth sound in a hardcore version? There's no easier version that you're gonna get it, and the time is too late in the game. And if this information is in my fucking dome, we're all connected, so it's gonna fucking resonate and ring your truth bell harder than anything you've ever experienced. There is no fucking thing as racism. Martin Luther King tried to tell you his fucking dream, you idiots. There is no such thing as racism. It'll go something like that. 5 minutes. Solved. Like, because I know what this place actually is and how it works.
What is this place again?
It is a universe. You know, maybe that, you know, it is a plane of inertia. So there's a sphere. That's what a toroidal field and a hyperbola, and the black hole opens up. So black holes are in play. That language is misunderstood. Outer space, there's probably some version of that, but we only exist inner space. All the things you see in the sky are holographic projections that your eyes are in tune to, and the rainbow itself.
Hold on. All of the things in the sky
Are dancing firelight, and they're local. That's why you can zoom in on them with high resolution cameras. And they look like, that's what me and my kids came up with for a nickname. They look like dancing firelight. And then there was already that nickname summarized called Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And then once you know the truth, you can go to every nursery
What does
rhyme.
dancing firelight mean?
It is what you are without the meat suit. You are a star.
A ball. Oh.
You're an all-star. You're a mega star. You're a rock star.
Superstar.
You're a superstar. You're
Go on.
I mean, you could keep keep going because they're
ball
all,
of energy.
Yeah.
So
if I said just commonly outside of this conversation, you create an aura. There's an aura about you.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I got to listen. What do you know about psychedelic spiritual journeys and their history? Do you know much about them?
I have just now started to dive into, like, they're recording them pretty heavy, and you can, like, on a podcast type of thing, you know, people are starting to talk about them.
Yeah.
I think that they come to you how you need them, and then it is also based in, like, the level of consciousness that you're, like, overall at. And based on what traditions you were indoctrined into. Please get your phone out, please, before I forget. I told myself I was going to do this because it's really powerful.
Okay.
Indoctrination, and then what's that definition, and then read that out loud.
You doing it?
You want me to do it?
Yep. There's no sense in both of us doing it, right?
The process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically.
Ooh, will you please say that last word?
Uncritically.
Speak up for the jury,
Dummies
please,
in the back.
this time. Yeah.
Accept a set of beliefs uncritically.
Meaning don't criticize the set of
Right.
beliefs that we have convinced you to believe in.
So here's a powerful statement. Like, you're going to have to consider that all your foundational axioms and principles that you have built your house on might have been inverted. Dear people, I love you. Like, any human that's hearing me say this, I love you. Think about that. And then there's that allegory in the Bible about building your house. This dude built his house on the sand. This dude built his house on the rock. The wave came. 5-year-old version anyone can understand. You just, adults actually have a harder time of letting go of, like, it's not that way. I would never be duped on that level. It can't be that way. So what I'm saying is that think about all the religions. Think about all the versions of the religions. But then the book's still there, and it's so powerful. Why? Because they're explaining the same human experience. Everything's trying to tell you the same human experience. It's when everyone knows that real time of peace can return. Because right now you're in failing systems of perpetual war and death machine and eugenics and poison for profit and slow poison for profit and epi-eugenics and manipulation. And They got you. They got everyone by the balls.
That's a wrap.
It's at 9/11.
That's a wrap.
9/11. The point of 9/11. Let's dig into this.
There's no saving the human body today. I mean, you can choose to not vaccinate your children.
Yeah, it is what it is, and I vaccinated my kids, and I haven't been on this, and I'm still drinking a Sprite.
Yeah, and you can. It doesn't matter what it is because that game is over.
We're still living in this time and place
where this is true.
All I want to say to the people is, for the first time, you get to recognize the system and the place you live in, and then we all together have to look at all the systems and the institutions that have been built off this false theory and look it straight in the fucking eye. Like James Cameron tried to tell you with Avatar. There's a time of the kingship and when everything's connected, and look how it's connected, and we can heal each other, and this magic really comes to life. That's a real fucking thing. And then we can combine it with the technology, and if fucking all the stupid fucks they have on the TV and all these resources and Elon Musk and all these people that are supposed to be revered goddamn men that I have to listen to all the time, and you fucking took your power and your time of rule and you hid it from the people for personal profit and gain. So let's fucking get the resources we actually have, and we can combine the Jetsons and Avatar. Let's fucking unbury Tesla's work.
Does Elon Musk know?
He's got to know.
There's no chance he doesn't know.
Because he is, and guys.
Why isn't he saying it then?
But guys, he's with his dick out. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Because this is such a dynamic lie that is, if he is lying, this motherfucker said he flew some shit into space. They dropped off a fucking pod on Mars.
A car.
And then they were just rolling dune buggies around and shit. It's an orb in the sky that's local. Basically everything that happens in creation, that's a center vortex.
What's an orb?
A chakra, a wheel of light. So it's a frequency band. And just like your pupils, they're in tune with that shit. So like Father Abraham has many sons has Father Abraham. So there's one sun in the center. It's unseen. You would call it the black hole sun. Won't you come? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not making this shit up. Maybe I'm just magically piecing it together. It's all trying to tell you the same thing. So that's the Father, the Son, and the sky that's projected is the Son. And the whole toroidal field is the Holy Spirit, the ether. It's the Trinity. You live within it. Your eyes are attuned to it. The sun, they say on record that it's 93 million miles away. You wouldn't see anything. Your eyes have limitation. That's why a human walking down a straight road sets over the sunset. Like there's a million things. Like I'm telling you, you're in tune with this. That is the oneness. So my whole theory was like, well, we're all having the same fucking experience. Then how's it work? Because there's a billion different things that you'll never get to the truth to because it's not knowable.
But it is knowable.
It is knowable. And all these different religions, thousands of different sects, they're trying to tell you the same thing.
You think psychedelics play a part in the OG religion? The religion of all religion. So in every, I want to talk about that again, but maybe it's not the right time. Anyhow, I've been diving into these psychedelics a little bit. And basically there's a guy, Brian something or another. He has never done it. He's got all these experiences. He's got all of this research, but it is done strictly on research, zero personal experience. He's doing that intentionally to make sure that he's not discredited, you know, and labeled a junkie or whatever, druggie, coming up with this. And ultimately, and I'm early on in the book, but ultimately what the premise is so far is that this psychedelic journey that takes you into this other dimension, sometimes I guess, is experiencing death before dying.
Isn't that what Jesus would be a metaphor of?
When you think about it,
you're buried with Christ and raised to walk in the newness of life while you're still alive. Isn't that what baptism symbolically is? Anyway, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that was a great interrupt. That was another guy. Hopefully the audience understood what that meant. I have so many fucking questions. So all of these experiences, first of all, I want to time
mushrooms.
travel.
We were kind of going.
Yeah, we were going that way. But this guy takes it from a position of simply put, that psychedelics were the root of religion, the OG religion that is never had a name. Like, it was never named, and then it was hidden from us because it allowed people the ability to understand that, well, truth, as some would say, but understand a second dimension, take their ego out of their thought and allow them to go beyond what their unaltered or maybe altered state of their brain would allow them to do.
While in the same physical body we're in the experience we're having right now.
While in the same physical body, yeah.
That's fucking dope. Let me think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the same thing as, like in Buddha, you're supposed to become the Buddha. Like Christ, you receive Christ. You know, there's Kundalini, there's the awakening. So let me try a fifth grade.
Well, he explains it in a manner where, the rituals in all civilizations in all of history had these drugs, and then they all had these similar experiences that are documented throughout history. In civilizations, obviously had nothing to do with each other. They all have these similar experiences, and I can't help but draw a direct line into what he is trying to explain based on his research, based on what was explained in, all ways, carvings and language and, rituals and all the information we have. I can't help but draw a straight line between them understanding spirituality, God, in a manner that's similar to yours, that at some point in history, the government, big government and religion have blocked us from sort of entering in a belief that it was sort of an end around to God, and we weren't allowed to go directly to that. So it's almost as if it was kept from us intentionally to not allow us to have the truth.
Right. And I think that there's
religion, the truth in religion, a direct line to whatever that is.
And that's what makes the flies stick to the honey. There's got to be something, like, if it doesn't ring the truth bell, if it doesn't resonate, think of all these words we actually use that are like resonate, magnet, waves. You're in a big asteroidal field. You know what I mean? That's what I'm proposing. So waves. Now, check this out. If you vibrate at a high frequency, look at it. It's a high frequency. It's getting higher and higher. It becomes a line. So you become aligned with truth. So I think what if I told you, like, your bottom chakra, the energy starts, and the goal is to get it to unsheath that hidden or Christ virgin birth. It's in between the hemispheres. It's like the black hole sun. As above, so below, Hermetic principles. So you can get into the Egyptians, their ancient shit is where I can, like, was the exclamation point to be like, say it out loud to people. You have something to share. If you can interpret this and see it in the Egyptians, to me, they were so thorough. And, like, you just got to be able to see it as allegory through that lens, and then you can read it for the first time. So that's what happened to me with the Bible when I literally, I had like a 2-week thing where it was really hard for me to function in life, like, actually. And I had to, like, get through work and dad and doing real shit. But, like, when this came to me and I accepted it whole, meaning I said, I'm going to step into these shoes and be brave and look through this lens. And I got a bungee cord to get back to reality if I need to. But I'm going to be down in this motherfucker, and I look through that lens. My background with the Bible exploded. And that took me like 2 physical weeks of being like, and ask Amber, at some point, my lovely wife, along the journey, I said to her, like, I'm going to have to start telling you stuff. And that was a number of years ago. But she's been rock solid and shit, man. You know, and certain people. So, like, I'm aware of the depths of these conversations, but I'm saying that I'm non-judgmental to people on all levels because to get where I'm at, I actually experienced it.
You had to go through all of them.
Yeah, and so let me tie this into mushrooms and what he was saying. The energy, every chakra in your personal body, say, will have a vice, meaning it's sealed or closed, and then you overcome that through whether it's, you know, you got to give up an addiction. You got something in your head, in your motherfucking head, that you're doing and you know you shouldn't be doing, and it's fucking killing you. And it's that secret. You have to overcome that, and then you open those chakras up, and you can get that. And it's an actual, like, you know, it's an oil, an actual unvirgining happens, and then that creates what's needed. And your bottom chakra is times 4. This chakra is times 100,000. According to the ancients, what I've read in some different texts. So the waves of life that are constantly hitting you all day, if you're in a completely sexual, egotistical mode, right? Like, you're interpreting those at the lowest vibration you could be. So when this happened, the water mixes with the wine or some degree like that, and it's a permanent situation. So now you're aligned with the will of God. So
the vibration frequency has become
that
aligned.
In the New Age spiritual jargon, you're awakened, kundalini, or, you know, whatever that experience.
Enlightened.
Yeah, to Christianity, you're Christed. It's not a dude's last name. That's Jesus is the allegory for the Son. Christ is the process that can happen and should be the goal of every human to happen. And Buddha, you become the Buddha. You know, Jesus, even his teachings that were written down by other men, you know, he never even says to worship him. He says, you can do all these things and greater through Christ who gives me strength. Christ is the consciousness. And like a lot of people in New Age circles will say, like, well, Christ is, like, I align with the teachings of the prophet, and they still consider him a man, or, you know, it doesn't matter. But so being Christed is actually a process, not just like the morality that inherently comes out of the Bible. So, and also, like I said, the Big Bang. And so, for instance, like Elon Musk, back to that, your dick's out of your pants because you're saying you for sure landed on Mars. And the truth is coming, brother. And
that's what I'm if he knows that, like, how's he going to back out of this truth?
Well, now you understand the forces of good and evil and everyone's choice in life.
So, hold on. Before we get back to the Elon Musk fully, that was what my face was for. I'm like, damn it, I wanted to ask you. What is God, then?
God?
What is
God? I used to think in my childhood and depth of my Christianity to show where I've gone in my change is that he was an all-loving, but he was a being. And he was in a golden city up on a cloud. If it's a sphere and it's hurling and spinning all these speeds, like, why do we always use the language up? Like, think about it. If here's a ball and a pilot has a sophisticated helicopter, he should just be able to lift up and just fly off the ball. We should be able to launch rockets at that angle, at that angle, at that angle, at that angle, at that angle. So the actual gravity of the lie is we've never been out of this bitch. And you've been taking fucking trillions.
Yeah.
See
So what is
how
God?
the
That's
air in
how
the
much-
room dropped right there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what is God?
Everything and nothing all at once. All the love. It divides itself to the light and the dark, but we're all one. It is the force somehow that was procured, like, to whatever degree the human mind's capable of nothing, like there was still some kind of love, some kind of spark. I call it the shimmering blackness. It's all the light and all the dark together, and it's beautiful. And somehow it's separated, had an umbilical cord, boom, pop this toroidal field open. That's the universe. And then the multiverse would be an interpretation of there's endless and your eternal energy inside a mortal meat suit for a little bit so you can continue to grow that energy field. And you're going to do this forever. And you're going to experience everything ever that could be thought of. Ever.
You think
That's what God is. And then we use that toroidal field projection, and I think of it more as an acronym.
hold on.
Generation, operation, dissolution, which would be like astrology. That would be like cardinal, fixed, mutable. You know, study those words. Cardinal, the starting of the season. Fixed, the ruling of the season. You know, and then look at all the guys. So I'm saying we recycle. You're in meat once. You're going to be in meat again. You're incarnation, carne.
We will be in meat again.
You're in meat.
And you think we will be in meat again?
Yeah. That's all there is to do. So we go through cycles of...
What do you mean there's all there is to do?
There's endless experiences. And endless ones here. It'll cycle forever. And then if you pass the test eventually and realize all this and you're in that golden age, then maybe you have the option to leave and go to another experience that might be a trinity or different. And then you forget when you come in and take the body. And then, you know, and then that's the real hero's journey. And then sometimes, I think this is my time to wake all the way up. And I'm taking all you motherfuckers with me. Ah!
You're all going with me. Oh, fuck. So that's all they did.
God.
I can't. I tried to stop you, and then you were on a tear, and I'm sorry for interrupting, and then uninterrupting my own interruption.
So, the dude with the mushrooms and kind of his theory, that fits in across the board.
Dude, you're going to love it. I'll send you the book. Matter of fact, let me look it up. It's I should know what it is, but the Immortality Key or something. It's called the Immortality Key. The Secret History of the Religion with No Name, dude. Dive into it. It's
Beautiful.
super dope. I'm into it. Dude. Truth seekers, man. We're just trying to find shit.
And then what about a samurai? Give him a hero's dose of mushroom. Boom. Lay him down, bring him out of his body, karate kick him back in, and now he has the reputation throughout eternal history of motherfuckers that would jump on their own sword before they would let their victory go to you by their sword. You only do types of shit like that if you start to understand higher level spiritual concepts.
How many people? Let me ask you a question, Zach. This question is for you. I'm going to give Shane. I'm going to give Shane a break here. What do is your interpretation of religion? You're a fairly religious guy. Active in your religion, I mean. I don't know what fucking fairly religious would mean.
Right.
Probably you're either religious or not. But you're fairly active in your religion. You're active in your church, and your belief. Is your belief? I don't want you to dive. I want to stay high level with this. Is your belief system overall the same as Shane's? Don't dive into it.
Yeah, I would say no. He's opening a lot of conversation for sure.
But does it align with the same overarching concepts?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And that's interesting. And what was really a good
Because what
a
if I use
breakthrough.
the phrase like I used to be? This is my personal thing, so I'm not even.
Yeah.
And, I could do this whole I could do this whole silhouette even more effective looking directly in the mirror, because that's the only person I would really need to talk to, and then you would just witness it out loud of me doing that. So that's how I try and speak.
I try to let you do that.
From that place. But so I used to be an exoteric Christian, and with the heart, everything, it was like I really prayed. I did my dirt, but I really did. Like, I still had that relationship.
Believed and feared
And like
God.
my dad, before he passed, he's like, at least these, like, because I was breaking him down with some questions. I have his genetic coding. Like, he started this journey.
Yep.
My parents sent me, like, that's who I am, and he embodied that. But I lost him in 2016, heart attack. But anyways, he would just be like, I've searched high and low, and he was continuing the search, but he was pre-internet. You got to understand how effective of a tool that's expanded my mind.
Yeah.
And I've trudged through every piece of shit, who knows, charlatan, misinformation, and that's how I feel I developed a fine tune for, like, my truth belt, is because I've plowed through so much garbage. But if someone had a take on how this shit actually works, like, and I'm basically have become an aggregator of aggregators to the highest level, where I can plow through shit on audio and get full teachable comprehension, hours and teachable comprehension. So I don't fucking start opening my mouth about it unless, like, I've that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I used to be an exoteric Christian. Everything's literally, but, like, think about this. I'm going to tie this all together here, boys. You are governing people's mind.
Government.
Thank you. All the churches. Now, I'm going to take the 4,500, how many different denominations?
Here goes all of our church sponsors. I can feel this coming.
So traditional religion is the biggest dupe of all time.
Well, I would say that the cosmology is way bigger than that.
The cosmology is the cosmos, bro.
Yeah, like, that's the mama.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like, that'll get you, like, should we start to pass laws to do something about guys like this? Conversation real quick. These are the truths that you're better be
ruffling
ready.
some feathers.
So, yeah, for sure. But the thing is, I'm ruffling everyone's feathers equally, if you think about it.
Equal opportunity feather rufflers.
Yeah, right? I'm saying, like, basically all your foundational concepts have been inverted, and that's how they pull off the power differential. They'd rather rule in hell than, and that's a state. So, Art Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's the whole point. So that's your varying degree, like red and blue, hot and cold. This plane can be heaven when everyone is connected in this way, or it can be hell when everyone, and then it cycles between it over time in the eons. That's why we started the year over at 0 at one time, because that's the beginning of an eon. Not because a dude, like, what Christians, and what I would say my biggest thing to get, I started to revisit the question of children, because my children were asking. And as I was saying these concepts, and then I had started, somebody had initiated me with these seeds. Do you guys getting a feeling of what I'm trying to say? I'm initiating you with seeds right now. So when someone did that to me, my background was so thick that I got there super fucking fast.
Easy trip when you're halfway there.
Yeah, but anyways, like, you got to consider some of the stuff that's going in the Bible, and I know I made the sacrilegious comparison to
the trip
to Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker, that's a name for the sun too, and Darth Vader, that's the night, that's the moon. See a common theme forming here. And so keep me on track, Matt. Sometimes it's too much. Okay.
You're doing good.
So Darth Vader, Star Wars.
Yep. What is God?
Oh, gosh, you just took me in a completely different direction.
Yep.
The generation, operation, dissolution of a force, meaning God is the ultimate summation of knowing, carried in the light, in this experience expressed through the water. It's not like a person.
Right. It's all a metaphor. That was one of the...
It's energy taking infinite form in a dance, a play, a song. You know, like in this inspiring the cardioid movement. Half the cardioid is the Fibonacci. That's the moon's dance and the sun. And they're together in the vortex of creation for 2.5 days, and you don't see the moon. And then she's waxing and waning like a woman's uterus. And when she's close, the resonance with you're an antenna.
How Shane?
Here's
What this, bro. What you are explaining, okay? For just maybe this is for your help here too, and surely you've already thought of this in some way, shape, or Shane form. Maybe what you're explaining is just downright unexplainable. And by unexplainable, what I mean is no matter how much you explain it, the majority of human minds are too interrupted by their own ego to allow their brain to ever get to the point of being able to understand what you are either A, explaining, or B, trying to explain.
Right.
I mean, this seems, and I've had a lot of people,
And
I have a lot of friends who have a lot of similar experiences and beliefs and thoughts and understanding of the cosmos and, you know, operating in different, experiences in different places throughout the cosmos. But is it possible that it's just, you can't, there will never be a way, the human brain is incapable of understanding this at scale without drugs?
I think that it gets really low to it being completely oppressed, and that's kind of like the big cycle of consciousness. You know, in this realm specifically, it ebbs and flows, and there's 12 eons, which would span, you know, like roughly 2,160 or 2060, something like that, times 12. So 25, it like gets 2,500 years or 2,400 years, and that's a grand year. So that's from Aries to Aries. You know what I mean?
No.
So this is astrology talk too.
No.
So I've also made an effort to kind of like eclectically look at all the traditions and at least have like a teachable understanding of just like an overview that a first grader could get.
What is God? Another way of explaining it. I really,
like, I'm okay with the creator.
Help with dialing in the concept of God from the metaphorical interpretations, which was really cool to hear you explain that God and the Bible rather is an interpretation of an experience as a metaphor.
Well, think about,
Is that what you were saying?
Did the Bible float down from the sky completed?
No.
So a good Christian, if they were going to sell Christianity in its esoteric form, you know, it would be like, well, it's the word of God. It's God breathed. You know what I mean? It was God inspired. Like, what does that mean? Humans wrote it. So what state did they have to be in to understand and interpret it? And then like 2,000 years later, if I told you that I received prophecy, you would stone me in the street. But these fucking random people who might, all the characters in the Bible might actually be allegory. I would make a case that Galatians 4:24, it talks about Abraham, and Sarah, and it says of which things are an allegory. So if Abraham's an allegory, he's the tribes of Judah come from him, and Jesus is the, King of the Jews. He's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So if he's an allegory, I would make the stance. Think about it. Did Jonah chill in a whale and then get spit up just fine? Were 3 dudes, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, chilling in a furnace? Does this sound similar to Star Wars? Like, they just didn't make a movie of it because it was written at a time when they didn't have movie projection like we have it now. So was Passions of the Christ, have you heard that reference to being a play? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm not trying to... It feels world destroying, man. My heart's so heavy. So but I'm saying the other side that I've come to. So now I'm an esoteric Christian. I would say the Bible is still my traditional book.
Which is your interpretation, which is your traditional interpretation of reality.
So before I thought of it as literal.
Right.
And in seventh grade, I went to a Promise Keepers event with my dad in Denver, and then I got baptized. I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior, and then I got baptized. And I did it to make my dad happy. It worked. And when I got dunked in the water, nothing was right. And I was asking questions like, did this dude really fucking, like, you guys just blew trumpets and the walls fell? This dude was in a whale. These dudes were in a furnace. You know what I mean? Like, et cetera, et cetera. Like, Moses just had a staff.
Metaphors.
So, but that's actual magic. It sounds kind of like Harry Potter if you objectively look at it. You know what I mean? And back to your question, that's your other thing. Like, a muggle is someone who can't see magic, and then really the battle is you're supposed to like make art or content or whatever you can do, use your magic wand, and then if you know what I'm saying and you use it for good, that's the metaphor of a wizard. If you know what I'm saying and you use it for self-preservation and fear, so your kids and their kids will never have to, have anything bad happen to them, and you know what I mean? And I can fuck whoever I want, and I can kill whoever I want. You know what I mean? That, guys, if you haven't looked at the shadow, everyone's got it. And you have to do like a Jordan Peterson too, and consider that any evil that's ever been done by any men, they've been a human being, and you're one of them. So to not understand your capable and capacity, if you don't use these forces correctly, that you would never do that. You would fucking do that. And you not saying
you would fucking do that. Like,
and you saying that you wouldn't is highly scary. You know what I mean? It's like Christianity's great, but we did invade a land and murder all these motherfuckers, and we did strip them of their whole culture in the name of. And guys, like, I want to say it not so aggressively sometimes, but like, it's been hard for me to try and say these things out loud, and I don't want to. So, and I don't have anything to sell except the truth, and I don't know how to move forward with this. Like, get a hold of me. I'm trying to have these conversations. I'm trying to gather with men, especially, that want to have these conversations. And I've felt alone for a long time, and I've been very angry because you can't have these conversations at church. You're evil for even having these thoughts.
Whoa.
You can't have these conversations. It's always red, blue. It's always like, And by the way, all these cultures and these cultures you follow, like, it's inverted too. Cult, yours. Your cult. Culture is just your cult. And a cult is anything you subscribe to, because in the end you'd be willing to die for it if shit hit the fan. It's your cult. So there's all these different cultures. So when you hear people say that word, it's your cult. And a cult there's one common truth. In one universe, this shit Bob Marley was saying, one love, one God, let's get together and feel all right. That there's only one way this works. No matter what you believe, guys, No matter what the fuck you believe.
That is
Let me
true.
say that again. Every human that has ever existed ever is having the same fucking experience, different version, no matter what you believe. And believing is blindly following, and blindly following is indoctrination.
Let me ask you this.
There's a
before
verse in the Bible that says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Oh, the renewing of your mind.
Yeah, that's like Romans 8:12.
Let me ask you this. What do you think, before we wrap this thing, what do you think is happening here? And before we wrap that, before we even talk about that, dude, we have so much to talk. We'll have you back either way, but here's what I want to know. What do you think? What's your interpretation of what's happening here,
like America specifically?
In America, yep, specifically. And then why? How does that tie to the rest of your...
I think at this
purpose,
level...
we're going to ask you that too.
At this level of the faction, if you will, like it's pretty global. The UN kind of embodies all that, and where the policies, and they're getting an army prepared. And I think it's going to come together, you know, probably under the banner of the protected ethno-religious, you know, name that you're not allowed to say, in Israel. Isis, the moon; Ra, Amun-Ra, the sun; El, Elohim. One from the Bible, one from the Torah, one from the Quran. Israel is referenced in the Bible. Israel is a metaphorical place when the Israelites, they're awakened. The Christians, it says a Jew is not, it's only one that is inwardly. That's a verse from the Bible. And circumcision is just that, is of which is of the heart. So these are all allegorical things. Mount Zion, you know, like, and they're taking so right now you have the military faction in the United States, Washington, D.C., you have the banking faction, and you have the Vatican. And then all the lies and like systems are kind of perpetuated out of that. I'm not claiming to be, I've kind of moved back out of politics, but there's still humans involved at the top. There's probably some legit beefs, but most of the time as you go up in the ladder, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you really have your own power structures underneath you. So it's become like oligarchy through corporation, and, you know, and you never put the king on the throne. That's something about the hustle that they've always figured out. You know, the king,
The actual king.
the power's never, that face is never actually on the throne, because if there's a problem with the power, then you
going down.
sacrifice the king.
Yep.
And you remain underground. So now, you know, that's why I call it a world stage. So, and it's probably intertwining to this plan is moving this way, you know, and has been for probably a number of years.
How many years?
Oh gosh. I think we really were trying to break away from like monarchy in the revolution, what it was all founded on. And then 1776, by 100 years later, I don't know exact dates, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not a history buff.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm giving you the general eclectic overview. And then about 100, you know, say late 1890s or something like that, whenever we became an actual corporation and the Federal Reserve. So basically, this is not a circle of life we're involved in. They're all pyramids. You understand how pyramids work. If you take out your dollar bill, it'll tell you everything you need to know. The enlightened people and Freemasonry, think about that allegory of that. Free to build, Mason, build. So at the top of the pyramid on the back of your $1 bill, you see the illuminated eye. This is the consciousness that they're aware of, what I've tried to uncover to you. Everyone else is in the brick and mortar. They're tied to it, and the only way you get up in the brick and mortar is to step on the necks of people underneath you. You know, so like slavery, they're just outright in chains. Like, what's your typical interpretation of slavery? I would like to enhance that for you. Is, you know, 100%, and I'm just making sure you're kept alive. And then all the labor you generate mentally or physically, now it's sophisticated slavery through oligarchy. So they're taking a really nice amount, 35%. So you volunteer for it.
Yep.
And then they give you a nice amount of freedom, and they give you the Roman circus, all the concerts, all the junk food and everything. And you have a nice, 60-year life. Maybe you have a heart attack. Fucking quick way to go out. You know what I mean? And you guys bonded over, stuff that wasn't really awesome, but you still had an experience. What do you want to live to 90 and chant with fucking people? And I'm just like, you really just have to put the magic out there, baby, against the sorcerers and trust. So that's what I'm doing, because I've been individually going around metaphorically to muggles, people that can't see magic in the Harry Potter series. They're muggles. I've been going around one-on-one and getting butt hurt because I couldn't instantly fucking persuade them about all the things I'm talking about.
You're getting butt hurt?
I
said that earlier, that you were pissed.
I carried a lot of anger for a lot of years. I mean, and in
why?
In turn,
what anger? Explain that.
I projected my own weakness to not be able to speak my truth out loud, and the other vices that I clung on to that also, I knew I couldn't talk about this type of shit just because I had to have mastery. With this energy, it can't be taken for granted.
You weren't ready.
No. So I also did a 7-day, 3 ounces of or less of water 7-day fast. To show myself mastery over that and all the shit that goes along with that, being able to, because I feel like if somebody was like, how would I get my health on track? I'd be like, it's more about the shit you can stop eating and just stop eating in general. And if I had any disease, I go on a 40-day fast, like cancer or something. I think that's what Jesus in the desert is a metaphor for, almost resetting your health, and then you'll be tempted on every level. But if you make it to that type of a fast, in also praying and being like, show me the light, show me what the fuck this experience is. I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing every day in my job. How can I fucking change the world? How are we all connected? Why is there a million different fucking religions? Why are people strung out on crack? Why do we fucking have wars? Why are the people at the top clearly, whatever the fuck they're doing, they're not taking their influence and fucking making this world perfect like it could be, and we all have this longing for it. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, yeah. It's these are real fucking issues, and there's no space that I'm allowed to fucking talk like this.
Let me ask you this. You found a space, bro?
Welcome to our space.
I've been telling you for years, you got a space here to talk.
I know, man.
But we also had to wait until the time. Yeah, that's right.
I wasn't ready, and in totality, and now I definitely am. So I want to say thank you to both of you,
bro,
because I've been doing this long enough that just to give me your ear in the same space is like a fucking miracle. And not everyone in the psychedelic or spiritual community is on this, because they're really hitting that community the hardest, because they're the closest to the truth. In my opinion, in my humble, just random fucking conspiracy theory opinion on all this, they're the closest to the truth. So they've got a lot of the words and the lingo and all that, and they experience just like a samurai. They go and all the stuff, that I go on about. I think you get a docile experience if you do things that occur in nature, like marijuana would be an entry level version of that, when you can start thinking openly. Isn't that the stereotype of a hippie? Yeah, man.
Free.
Can't everything.
They're free.
Can't we just love each other and we're all one. We actually fucking are all one. So I'm that dude that tries to come in with the fucking street language and the power, and I've put it all together to be like, motherfucker, it is like that, and I'll argue it to the death. Because I fucking put everything on the line already. So I'm not scared of any of this shit. This is my purpose. And I think everyone has the same
answered
purpose.
it before you
Damn
asked
it,
it.
you son of a bitch. Damn it. All right. Well, you stole my one question, but that would be the closer, and it's no secret, dude. Shane, I know. First of all, you're welcome for coming on the show.
Thank you.
But
Sincerely.
But more
to both of you.
so, thank you. And here's why thank you. And I don't know if our audience understands this or if most people or anybody really, with the exception of a few, understand the courage that it takes, the bravery, the fearlessness, the fucking the intestinal fortitude, the power, the strength it takes to become this vulnerable and tell this level of truth, and share your experiences in the face of what is probably the highest being power, other than the powers that you speak of that are the ultimate powers, in the face of everyone else in this world going against what you're saying. You're literally brave enough to say, I understand I run the risk of sounding like a total fucking quack and a whack job and a psycho.
For
and
sure.
I don't care. I understand that. And I'm so sure
Or
of
possibly
my findings.
I've had to deal with the fact that I've just had the totality of just an overview, I would call it, but just the simple fear of, I got a family and like I'm not looking for any fame. Like, send me $1 million, you'll never hear from me again, is really what I'm trying to do, and just do my experience with my family. And then think about it, everyone's trying to do a version of that, and then naturally gravitate in their best version with other people on a connected level. And then the tribe and tradition, and then the tradition, you go show each other your fucking traditions, the way you sing, the songs you wrote, the pictures you painted, the way you tell the one story. That's what it used to be, and we took that shit and inverted it for fucking self-preservation, because tragedy still happens. You're going to want to mate with this person, and this person is too, and then you're not going to get picked. You get what I mean?
Bro.
All the realest shit. Is anyone out there trying to have the realest motherfucking conversations? I've been telling my wife this for borderline a decade. Like, is there any version of a church that should actually be like church should actually be? Where people are actually talking about the realest shit? Or are we just socializing lies? Are we putting on a mask, a facade, a face? Personality, persona is the Greek word for the mask that they would use to project their language on stage before they had microphones. You know what I mean? Like, we got to empower our women. Like, we're made fucking perfectly. We got to stop poisoning each other. We got to figure this shit out, or at least bring these conversations to the table. That's what I'm saying.
Understand. I'm going to answer this for you. You can add on however you like. The what's your purpose question that you know and everybody else knows that we ask every guest. What's your purpose? You've already alluded to it, or actually said it exactly that several times. But in a nutshell, dude, I know the courage. I appreciate you. I really do. And I admire you for your courage and your strength to put yourself out there, tell your experiences, your story, good and bad. And I know it's in fight for your purpose is why you're doing it. And what is that? What's your purpose, dude?
To be a spiritual helper to anyone and everyone, even the people on the highest levels of whatever. Like, there's love for you too. If you came forward, you could make the biggest impact of anyone ever, even if it might cost you your life. And I'm willing to do that, and I'm a piece of shit somewhere too, so I know these motherfuckers at the top can do. So not only have I figured out your hustle, motherfucker, but I'm coming to you with love still. And you've probably done some gnarly fucking shit. So let's just make this fucking place great. And you know what I mean? Think about that level of shit. I'm describing someone's at the top of that pyramid. Come forward, motherfucker. So it's grandiose, and that's the thing. I've learned to just be okay in the space because I'm just here to plant seeds. And even if I fabricated all this bullshit just to get some views up, like, what the fuck? Have you thought about these things? I already know the answer, guys. I know what happened, so it's all cool. I don't judge anybody, and I'm just if nothing else, like, I spoke it. You know, I don't expect anybody to believe me instantaneously, and, you know, whatever needs to happen will happen from it.
Dude, at some point, at some point.
Because this shit's coming. Maybe it's 100 years from now. Maybe you take me out. Maybe it continues forward. You know what I mean? As is. Maybe there's... But, like, the shit is coming. Like, I'm what you would call in Harry Potter, a mudblood. Meaning I just got this out the mud. I just wanted to know enough. And, like, there was no accident. I was put in position, and now I'm speaking it. So the whole process came whole. I can, you know what I mean? But, like, in Harry Potter, you could have different levels. Your parents could know. You could be brought up in this. And kids that are born, they'll be open to this, but they still have to go through the process of the material vanity. They still have to go experience all the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
All right, let's cut it then.
My guy, listen, this is such a cool show. To our audience, just listen to it again.
That made it this far.
Yeah, just listen to it again, right? If, well, I know there are many because I get messages every week.
Later on,
yeah,
you're welcome. But until then, I am sorry. I am sorry.
And he means that it's the hunt for truth. And the meaning of life and the big purpose.
Yeah. And I could be totally wrong and I could be totally off base. So if this all sounds ridiculous, because some people just won't be able to hear it. But what I'm hoping is when you put it out, they can receive it and they're quiet. And
just put it away. Yeah, just throw this in your bag.
Don't tell anyone you saw this.
No.
Or you're thinking about any of these things.
Just throw it in there.
Literally.
And then start watching things.
Or hate me.
Yeah. I'm hateable also. You're also welcome to hate me. And Zach is also here to speak on behalf of him. Anyway, listen, everyone. Thank you so much for all your support, Shane. I love you, bro. I appreciate you coming.
Love you, man.
Dude, you're the
That was awesome,
man.
dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you all for your support and your love. Please share the show if you dare to share this show. If you want everyone to fucking hate you or at least think you're a weirdo, share the show. We love you all. Appreciate it. And as always, find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose, people. Peace.